the mind reader, the Catalina Pete Seeger leader, the re-repeater, the Hickenstein Kush breather.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Illfoominati. My name is Ryan Fu, and this is the WeAreDenver network. We do our best to bring you all kinds of local artists here in the city to you on the interwebs, and today I have a profound honor of introducing a longtime friend of mine. She's just a badass, thunderous human being who has a sweet, soulful voice, and she's a very kind human being, as you'll come to know in just a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful sound of Kayla Marque.
Thank you. Shadows of yesterday tiptoe across the window panes. Morning snuck into the door. I feel you breathe behind me, feel you touch my shoulder blades. I can't want you anymore. The long nights we spent gazing at the cityscape, those nights we weren't afraid to crawl. Ooh, this is dangerous. I cannot wait to rest. So I don't feel you, I don't feel you. On the black and white floor, my fingers dance upon it, every string of my guitar. In the rhythm of emotions sway back and forth. Ooh, I hate that part. When the midnight came stumbling through these empty halls to find me sheltered in your arms. Ooh, this is dangerous. I cannot wait to rest. So I don't feel you, I don't feel you, but I feel alive when you wash over me like you were holy water. Soon and silent, say goodnight. Leave me here to bleed, leave me on my knees at the altar. Ooh, oh no, this is dangerous. I cannot wait to rest. So I don't feel you, I don't feel you. In the cathedral bells ringing past the fire escape, rolling diamonds under city lights. An empty whiskey bottles on top of the fireplace. I can feel myself divide. Out of body, out of mind, out of sense, out of time, in the most enchanting way. Yeah. Ooh, this is dangerous. I cannot wait to rest. So I don't feel you, I don't feel you, but I feel alive when you wash over me like you were holy water. Soon and silent, say goodnight. Leave me here to bleed, leave me on my knees at the altar. This is dangerous. I cannot wait to rust. So I don't feel you, 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 I don't feel you. No, I don't know, I don't know. So I don't feel
good, Kayla. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're going to do a couple more for us, right?
Yeah. So that tune was called Way to Rest. I'm playing 2 songs from my album. This month is a year anniversary of Live and Die Like This.
Wow. I can't believe it's already been a year.
I know. Crazy, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm going to play Live and Die Like This. Left my dreams out on the power lines. I hung them out to dry. These old wires, they don't shake me, waiting to be electrified. Kill me now, what is the sound of my heart hitting the ground as I surrender my love? Time is chasing all of us. In my hands it just turns to dust. The world is spinning endlessly. Can't seem to catch my gravity, and I'm hostage in a disconnect. I will live and I'll die like this. Hey, my third eye rests, blind and weeping. My mind's playing hide and seek with the sadness I've been keeping in the deepest part of me. Funneling down out of the crowd, I took a breath so deep that I shattered my lungs, ripped off my skin, told my soul to run. Untie my fire, still I came undone. Kill me now, it is the sound of my heart hitting the ground as I surrender my love. Ooh, oh no, the world is spinning endlessly. Can't seem to catch my gravity, and I'm hostage in a disconnect. I will live and I'll die like this. Hey. Please forgive me if I splatter. Please forgive me if I stain. I will live and I will die this way. The world is spinning endlessly. Can't seem to catch my gravity, and I'm hostage in a disconnect. I will live and I'll die like this. I will live and die like this. I will live and die like this. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
So this last tune is brand new.
Ooh, have you sung it live at all, other than here? So real brand new, brand new.
This is the premiere.
Ooh, well, thank you for gracing us with such a new piece.
Yeah, I'm so scared. So I might struggle.
You're gonna do great.
Let's see. It's called Copyrights. Will you please put the stars in my hair just one last time? walking barefoot through love on a tightrope in the twilight. Memories of you falling through my eyelashes make me go blind. Oh no, what did we do to love? Swaying my hips while I'm kissing the lips that are telling me lies. You taste like last year on my birthday on the beach at night. Am I just your story that you will always have to rewrite? Oh no, how did we ruin love? Tried packing my pride away in a box and giving it to you. You're masking your thoughts with your soulless footprints that lead me straight to you. Easy wasn't made for people like us, it's never enough. I want to just be fools in love. Off your energy, but the things that used to get me high, well, they've become my enemies. And now I'm at war with you, fighting you with an army started in my head. It's marching in our bed. I'll do what you want me to. I'll surrender a war that I will never win. But you met me at my coldest, and somehow you softened me. But I was just too young to notice that no one had watered me. Looking at the past and knowing nothing's gonna be the same. Holding on to present like a gift I wanna give away. But you know we bought tomorrow, and every day after that we own the rights to this future, and I ain't gonna give it back, no. I ain't gonna give it back, no, no, no.
Well done.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank
Kayla
you.
Marque, ladies and gentlemen. She's going to come over and join us, and we're going to talk a little bit and get to know her, but wasn't that just a treat?
I feel like we're cheating. We get in the headphones. It's so nice.
I know.
The people at home don't get the...
They can plug headphones in.
Yeah, and it's... Thank God we've got Rich back there recording all this in super high def.
Extra high definition.
But just sitting here with the headphones in such an intimate setting, like, we're so spoiled.
Yeah, that is just an absolute serenading of my soul. Kayla, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a treat. Every time I get to sit here and listen to an artist and just to close my eyes and oh God,
You got a dream job.
I know, right? Oh.
I actually like having EQ'd you last night. When listening here in an intimate setting, I was just reminded of like how hard it is to like really capture someone, especially the guitar. The guitar sounded in that big room. with all those people talking and everything.
Oh, so many human bodies too.
Yeah, well, I just feel super schooled, honestly. I'm just sitting here being like, oh man, I didn't even anywhere near this.
Yeah. Hey, people, I don't think give engineers enough credit. Engineering is an art form.
It
Oh,
really
for
is.
sure.
Is an art form. So, Rich, great job.
Yeah,
Big ups to you,
thanks,
buddy.
Rich.
Yeah, Ghost House.
Ghost House Studios. If you're ever looking for a place to record in Denver, we're in this beautiful studio. It's called the Ghost House Studio. Check it out. Anyway, I'm really happy to be here. Kayla, how you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Yeah? Yeah?
I'm good.
Good. And how about you, Samson? How you doing?
Really good, yeah.
Yeah.
Well rested. Enjoyed that time change.
Yeah. Oh, I
Oh,
forgot. We did
yeah.
get. That's why I feel so well rested.
Yeah. I wouldn't have even remembered. I knew going to bed, but I wouldn't have remembered. I got in the car and it said it was 10 o'clock. And I was like, fuck, bye.
Yeah, that hour difference would have made. I would have been a completely different grumpy person.
And
today.
here you are instead.
And here I am, bright and shiny.
I got home from a wedding at 1 o'clock last night, and I was like, oh, I'm barely gonna get any sleep. And then I woke up and I was like, I feel really good. So
Fall back.
it suddenly makes sense.
But it sucks because now it's going to be darker earlier. That's the downside to it.
Yeah. What is the reasoning behind daylight savings time? Does anyone know?
What's the reason behind time, Ryan?
Oh my! We've gotten existential quick. She knows. I love that.
I guess just getting your ass to work is more important than getting home. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just want you to see when you drive on your drive to work in the morning. So you
Maybe
don't
it's just a
crash.
subconscious reminder that they control all of the concepts in your life.
Yeah, but it's not universal. Like,
It's just America mostly, right?
yeah, for the most part, and even then, there's some places here that don't even do it. Like, it's
What?
a
There are
time
states
zone.
that don't.
Yeah, if I recall.
Really?
It's been a while since I looked into it, but I'm pretty sure that it's not universal in the USA. It's
Audience,
definitely not.
That's
we
a
are going to
thing?
Google some shit between podcasts, and if you're interested in the answer to that, we're going to talk about it on Nothing Explained, which is Samson's podcast, comes up right after this. But we're here to get to know Kayla Marque a little bit. So you heard her sing. She's an absolutely gorgeous singer, but I think the thing that always captures me about your music, Kayla, is you're a very good songwriter.
Thank you.
That's all totally original. You didn't have help with any of it, did you?
No,
Yeah, that's impressive. Really well done.
thank you.
Yeah.
I think nowadays I'm always getting the question of like what my genre is. And I went to a singer-songwriters expo, so I couldn't say I was a singer-songwriter.
Why not?
Because everyone was a singer-songwriter. So like there you had to be compartmentalized into pop and I don't feel like I'm any of those things.
You're like, fuck labels.
Yeah.
Who needs
so I'm just more so nowadays calling myself a storyteller.
You are a storyteller. I mean, all of your music has that very narrative sort of feel. Even like
Yeah.
line to line, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm being moved from. It's also always a pleasure because I've honestly heard your music so many times now, live performances and also
Yeah.
your album.
Yeah.
So to hear like a new song like that and sort of remember how, what real magic there is in hearing that kind of songwriting the first time.
Mm.
It's like seeing a movie the first time. You know, like it's all the surprises and all the.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous! Well done.
Thanks.
Copyrights, huh?
Yeah.
Tell us about the song.
Well, it's I was hoping I wouldn't have to talk about it. It's about a breakup.
Yeah.
So I had just recently gone through a breakup that's been pretty rough on me, and that's what it's about. I don't want to like go too deep into it.
Where did the title come from? How do you get from a breakup to a copyright? That's what I want to know.
Because we kind of had this like inside thing about our life being an indie movie. And he is also an actor. And I'm a songwriter, so it all goes together. But I didn't really come up with that, the title, until like the end lines of the song talking about how we bought the future. Like,
Yeah.
I bought my future and I own the rights to that.
Yeah.
So that's really where copyright comes from. It's
Cool.
just a bunch of like play on
That's a good idea.
words.
Like taking a hold of your future. Like, that's
yeah.
mine.
Yeah, taking your power back kind of concept.
Yeah.
I've patented my life.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. And also, I think very unfortunately, definitely not all humans, but even many Americans don't own the rights to their future. do
Right.
they?
Yeah. It's a big deal. So I think going through that process of just being with yourself and knowing that you do have like a choice.
Yeah.
So
How's that been, being a singer-songwriter entrepreneur?
awful.
It's hard. It's not an easy.
No,
they make it seem glamorous,
It's
right?
so hard. It's really hard. And then you look at like my social media, like my Instagram specifically, and you think that I'm like living this super awesome, like lavish life. And
Your photo shoot game has been on point.
hey, well, yeah, shout out to all the photographers that.
Is there one particular one you've been working with? Just because it all has a kind of similar feel. I don't know how you accomplish that, but...
Oh, I have like a method about this.
Really?
Yeah, I like to meet with them first, like
Okay.
over coffee at a very specific spot, which I'm not going to name because I don't want to share all my
But it's not
secrets.
on location?
No. So we like meet up and just basically just talk about like things that are happening. All of my shoots I try to, for me, it's just an expression of what I'm going through outside of music, because I haven't been in the studio in a while and I've been playing the same songs.
Welcome back.
I know. Thanks.
Yeah.
So that it started as like a way for me to just create something still. So all of them are really about like where I'm at in my life, and so it's just like this illustration of like.
They're very powerful. They do
What's
have,
going on?
they've got very, without having words on them or you know.
That's what's great
they've
about
got some
pictures,
narrative.
right?
Yeah.
Worth 1,000 words.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're a storyteller, like you said. You could
Right.
probably say that about your pictures as well, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really impressive. So back to songwriting then,
Yeah.
and like, so you're not willing to say you have a genre. No. But I can say as an external force, it is also very hard to pin down what genre you are in, because you've got an R&B sort of sound and vibe, but your voice, I think
Right.
also because most really talented female musicians these days are pop singers, like people who just have that like ding perfect intonation kind, which you're very blessed to have. So you've got sort of, I don't want to say you have a pop voice, but it's I don't know. I guess if I had you sing like a cover of Alicia Keys or something, someone might think that.
Pop? Really?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's just my personal take on it.
Okay.
But the point is that it's very dichotomous, and I think you have sort of like a bluesy rhythm too. So it's sort of a blues content feel too, right?
Yeah.
I don't think your music is melancholy, but it has like I think blues is actually a pretty good.
I think it's kind of melancholy.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay.
I'm okay with that.
You're all right with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about people? I think of any of the negative criticism I've ever heard about you, which is few and far between.
Oh, dude, hell.
Yeah. Is I've heard people say they feel, and mostly like older people, like, you know, like 50, 60, 70, say like, her music's really sad for me. What would you tell people who believe that?
Don't listen to it.
That's fair. Yeah.
No, but like really, that is like one of the things I've heard too. Just like, why don't you write like
Happier music?
Yeah, because that's not what I want to tell.
Yeah.
And that's also like not my life. I write things that I know and things that I'm experiencing, and I do have some songs that are like more on the brighter side, but
More
like
upbeat. Yeah.
that's not my.
To me, a lot of your songs are about beauty, and beauty has a lot to do with contrast, right? It has to do with like there's one of the things that always touches me in songs and songwriting is when people talk about death and talk about the dying of things, but it's not like, yay, death, like, woohoo, I
Right.
love listening to death. It's that it reminds you how much you have to enjoy life. So it's that really beautiful contrast.
One of
and you do a
my
great job with that.
best friends told me that my music has made him like uncomfortable.
In what way? Because
it's talking about things that I think people don't, or I'm saying things in a way that is like a little more on the darker side.
Yeah.
And I think it's things that people want to avoid thinking about in their mind.
Yeah.
Which as do I, which is why I write it, because it's shit that I think. Can I say that?
Yeah.
It's shit
No,
that
this is
Fuck yeah.
uncensored.
You too. It's shit that I think about that I don't want to like carry with me every day.
Right.
So I put it out, you know, and it's also real. Just because you don't want to think about something doesn't mean it's not there still. So, yeah, like if it makes you like too sad, I'm sorry, like don't listen to it. But it's also, when he told me that it made him uncomfortable, I was kind of happy because,
Really?
Well, that's art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because of that, it like makes you think and it makes you feel something. So I feel like then I've like accomplished
Man, props.
what I want to.
You totally deserve props for that. It takes a lot of courage. And also, I'd say that some of the best artists in the world were people who felt like great pain and expressed it through their art. I'm a suffering artist. Yeah, but the music and the art is fantastic. How's the pursuing of it in like your life?
What do you mean?
Like going to gigs, and how's that side of it?
Oh, I mean, I don't get to enjoy it as much as I would like to because I also, you know, still work like a day job, multiple actually.
That blows my mind.
And so it's like, you know, working like a full 8-hour day and then having to go also like pack up my shit and like then drive to a show and do all that and then play for 2 hours sometimes is like.
That's a lot and takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it does. And then having to also like not just play but like be present. Like if I'm not present with my music, it's just a whole different experience and it sucks.
Of course it is. Well, like what you were just saying, part of what makes your tone so resonant is that it's genuine.
Yeah.
It's not you singing about a story. It's you telling a story.
Exactly.
That's a different thing.
So yeah, it's really draining and then having to interact with people afterwards and stuff. Like I just want to be doing this, you know, so that I can really like connect with my fans and my supporters and like people in general and not just like feeling like I'm going from one thing to another. And then always, I'm in this place right now where I feel like I'm like just wearing different masks. Yeah. Like at this job, I have to be on this face and this job, I have to put this face on and then I have to go be Kayla Marque and it's like.
Gotcha. Well, I've got a funny feeling that it's not something you're going to have to deal with for too much longer.
I hope that you're right.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just too talented for it not to be the case.
I don't think talent matters that much these days.
You say that, but how much professional voice training do you have?
Yeah.
None. Well, I took choir in like choir in high school.
Allow me to beatbox disgust.
Nasty.
Yeah, but I mean, like there's a talent in, you know, there's a natural talent and there's also a talent in the ability to be directed. You know, someone can come in who has the ability to like produce something, but they need someone who can respond to their cues. You know?
Right. I would say similarly, that's the whole actor-director relationship. Like part of what directors look for in actors isn't just people who are good at acting. It's people who can change cues and take different, you know, who they come in and they do the scene and say, all right, I want you to do that again. But now do it like no one knows your dog just died. Or that's a terrible example, but you know, something like that.
Yeah, but in the music industry, you know, like I could consider Katy Perry being someone who's not like an original product of herself.
Oh right.
You know, versus like Taylor Swift or who you mentioned earlier, the piano player Alicia Keys.
Right.
You know, those are people I think of as like pretty much creations of themselves.
They curated their own brand and image, but
they're still but Katy Perry still has like a talent, but it's just not all encompassing. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be tons of those examples, right?
Yeah. I mean you have the talent of being
she's
very
like an
attractive
entertainer, right?
As well too. Yeah.
So I think there's like different levels. I think there's like artistry and then there's entertainers and some people are both of those.
Yeah. Would you put yourself in one or the other of those categories?
Probably an artist, yeah.
An artist. You're not interested in entertaining people, or are you fine if
absolutely not.
Are you okay if your art is entertaining?
Yeah, but I don't ever want anyone to say that to me.
Like you're an entertainer.
I get so offended. I get so offended by that.
That's really interesting. That makes me wonder about where you want to go with it because, I mean, you're embracing this idea, I don't want to be entertaining, so I would not expect you to ever want an audience to a certain extent.
Well, no, see, that's not how I think of it. Like, at a show, I'm not there to entertain you. I'm not like a fucking court jester, you know? Like, this is an exchange of energy between you and I. Yeah. And, like, we are connecting on, like, a different level, on a different plane, and, like, you never get the same stage or audience twice. Yeah. So it's every single time is a once in a lifetime experience, no matter how big or how small, like whatever it is. And so I don't see it as entertainment. Like I never will. Not what I do specifically. Right. Like this is like a chance for us to, I'm vulnerable. You're vulnerable by just like being here and listening and like receiving what I'm saying. And I think that creates like an energy flow.
Totally. Yeah, I think that similarly it'd be like saying that meditation or yoga or any other deeply spiritual practice is entertaining. Yeah. It's not. It's fulfilling. Yeah. That's a totally different thing. So I understand what you're saying. I understand. But in America, most artists...
Arts and entertainment. It's a business. I get it. But yeah, I feel like the fans that I have understand that about me, and like they say things to me like you're my medicine. Like those are the kind of comments that I'm like, yes, you're here with me. Like,
man, your music is medicine. Together. That is true for sure. And music generally is medicine. Euthymia talks about this all the time. Who's a favorite person of mine, but she says that a long time ago, indigenous medicine healers and of various cultures all across the world were also artists.
Yeah.
Like every shaman had a rattle. Like that's one small example, but every shaman had a drum or a rattle or an instrument they would play it because they saw all the ways in which you could make someone feel better.
Yeah.
Right? That's the job of a healer is make someone feel better. And music does that. Music has a direct and instantaneous impact on how you feel.
Sound healing. It's the vibrations.
Yeah. So I thank you for being a healer in this world. And thank you for owning that. It can't be easy. I know it's not.
It's not. And actually, I wanted to like segue back to people being like sad about this stuff and like uncomfortable. I think that's because it's a healing process.
Right.
And, you know, when you're healing or growing, it's really uncomfortable and it's very painful.
Every time.
And so I think that is like what my music is. It's honest. And
so if people feel uncomfortable, it's sort of taking the thorn out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And the song copyrights it. I didn't want to like go into it too much, but that was kind of telling the story of like our whole process, like in that relationship. It wasn't just about like, I feel like a lot of music, and I have one song too called Thorns that's kind of like, oh, you did this wrong and you fucked this up and you ruined this. But I'm like, how did we do this to love? How did we ruin this? How? And I talk about too like, you know, like, oh, well, you met me at this time where I was like a very hardened person, and like, my music has this undertone of like hopefulness, I think, and it's not all about heartache and pain. It's just like describing the process, and then also the music is not like sad. No, it's like it has this like balance of there is hope in it. Yeah, you just have to really like tune in.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think of any time there's surgery or something has to get taken out or you break a bone or, right, there's the mending process is always painful.
Right.
So, yeah, people who feel uncomfortable, I think, are also people who resist that. You know, there's an old spiritual metaphor that, like, you can go around walking with a thorn in your arm. There's two ways to deal with it, right? Either you can avoid things touching the thorn. You brush by a tree and it touches it and you're like, ow, that hurts.
Yeah.
And you can spend your whole life preventing things from touching it. Or you can take it out. Which is the much more painful process. And it requires a lot of like really direct insight. And then if you get into like the more existential metaphor, some people don't know what thorns they have, what painful. So when someone touches them there, they think, oh, that person has caused me pain, rather than I have a wounded spot.
Right.
And anything that touches it hurts. Yeah, so healing that wounding spot is more painful than just touching it.
Right.
Yeah, so I think your music definitely does that. Yeah. I'll tell you, there's plenty of times I've sat in theaters or at venues you've played at, and I'm very lucky to be a person that gets to be backstage sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just get to like lay on the ground and listen. It's healing. It's good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So here's another question. There's one thing I always think about whenever I hear you play, which is there ever going to be a Kayla Marque band?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
What do you mean there is?
Oh, well, tell us about that, because I don't get to see very much of.
Oh yeah.
Usually, I see you playing solo.
So yeah, there is I do have a band that backs me, and I play like both because I want to have diversity. I feel like I have like a little bit of something for everyone, like doing the acoustic like stripped down thing, and then doing the full band production, which it sounds like the album. Yeah. So yeah, we actually are playing. We're doing like an anniversary show.
Where at?
This month, November 26th at Larimer Lounge.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we're also playing, we're doing an open air session at CPR on Wednesday.
Yay, cool.
Yeah. You deserve that. Yeah. You've been on CPR before, though.
I have. No,
yeah.
It's so crazy because I was on there before I released the album. And I just did it solo, and Kid Astronaut and Cyril's sang background.
Oh, that was good. I remember that.
And that was like showing the single. And it's crazy that they're letting me come back to play songs from the same album. Yeah. I was like, really?
But with a whole new band now.
Yeah.
So shout out some people, and what are the instruments they play?
So I've got Jordan Ost on drums. Okay. He's dope. Tim Bejarano. I always call him habanero because I'm rude. He's the lead guitar. James on I like can't think of his last name right now. James on bass, and then Gracie is the DJ. Yeah, so it's just like they were also the two of them, drums and bass, were in my old band, Straight Nerdy, like a cool kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they have like a background in like metal and jazz, so they're really good musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun.
It always blows my mind how talented or skillful, perhaps, metal musicians have to be.
Oh, so really technical.
Very, very high bar for
Yeah.
especially instrumental music.
Well, it spans. It's funny because like metal kind of starts in the punk, like let's just slam our hands.
There are metal
And
people
just-
who will tell you that's not true.
Well, I know, but like that's the whole thing is like if you listen to early metal bands though, you know,
Yeah.
like and then but like metal bands who stick around always stick around because they bridge the gap from like to like holy shit.
Yeah, super talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all great. I love them, and it's just way more fun.
Yeah.
Like I actually have fun playing with the band because I can like dance and like move around, and it's not so like let me pour out myself to you right now. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like.
Well, I remember the very first time, like sort of you're going the opposite direction, but remember the first time John Chalkness played by himself after Air Dubai
Yeah.
At what was the Atlas Theater.
Right.
It was actually above the Atlas Theater in the sanctuary of the Althea Center. I remember he played the first time and he was so scared. And
Yeah, it's
John, if
scary.
you're watching this, I'm sorry I'm telling this story, but it's beautiful, so thank you. But he was used to being backed
Yep.
all the time, and just sort of this feeling of like never having to bear the burden all by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then to go from that to like, oh my God, I'm by myself.
Well, you
on
can't
stage.
hide anything.
The
You
total
can't hide
vulnerability.
anything at all.
Tell us the difference. What does it feel like differently?
Playing solo acoustic is just it's really that like energy exchange that I was talking about
Right.
earlier. The vulnerability is just very high. Like you're just revealing yourself completely, and that goes for mistakes too. Like fucking up a chord or not hitting the right note, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
As opposed to like playing with the band, you have like 5 other instruments plus like maybe a backing track that you can kind of hide
Right.
and
No,
like
that's true.
shape shift in between, and like you don't have to be so critical of yourself, and plus you also feel that energy with your mates on stage too, like when you're up there and it's just like a spotlight. And
It's still an energy exchange, though.
oh yeah.
So what's different about the energy exchange, then?
I feel like, okay, I don't know if this is like weird. Like stripped down is more of like, it's just more of a process, like a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And with the band, it's kind of just like we're here already, like somewhere. Well, I don't know where the fuck we are, but
Right.
like,
No, totally.
the energy is just it's higher because it also is giving people like movement. They can like move and dance, and like when it's acoustic, it's just like very, like sitting back and like crying. People cry all the time when I play acoustic, so it's just heavy. It's heavier.
Yeah.
It has a lot more weight to it, and it's lighter with the band.
With the band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I generally feel that too. I think you're right. I think that's also why it's important for you to always do both solo
Yeah.
and band stuff.
I
You
agree.
think for the rest of your career that's going to be the case?
Yeah, I want it to be. I want just to be able to always play the songs the way that I wrote them initially, because I think that it has a rawness that the production doesn't have.
Of course.
And it just really shows. I think it really shows like myself. The band shows a different side of me.
Yeah.
And I want all of those sides to be shown.
Would you ever write music for someone else?
I get this question a lot. It
Really?
depends. It depends.
Because you're a good songwriter, so like that's the first thing I think is
I'm
like,
a good storyteller for
Yeah,
my own
storyteller.
stories. I
Oh,
don't
yeah?
know, because I've had like writing sessions with other people, and it's been difficult for me to like tap into something else. So I feel like I would have to like adapt the same process. I would like really have to sit down with this person and like get to know them, so
Their
that I
whole
can
story.
write the way that I write from.
but with
like
them as the
telling
main
them.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, similar question. How would you feel if someone approached you and wanted to perform your work?
What do you mean, like a cover or
Like someone heard your song and they're like, I want to pay you to do your song. Like, I mean, what if someone big, like it was a paycheck,
like
right?
Katy Perry came to you. And was like,
That's an automatic fuck no.
Well,
But is there an
someone
artist you respect?
Yeah.
That you would allow that?
Sia.
I don't know who that is.
I know the name, but I don't.
I'm uncultured.
Shame on you.
Shame.
Okay. Adele.
I've got various technicians looking at me right now like I'm crazy.
I would give Adele a song
Cool.
What song do you feel like Adele would choose?
from my current catalog.
Any, yeah.
I don't know what she would choose, but I would want her to sing "Lonely One."
Yeah, Lonely One would be, it's my favorite. Like that's, if you're talking about songs that make people cry, I like forget you sing that song and then you sing it and I'm like, oh my God, this is a thing.
Yeah,
It's
me
really
too.
Yeah?
It hits me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good art, when like the performer is just as sort of affected by the performance as the audience.
I always need a second, like after that song. I need to like regroup.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Could you tell us, for people who've heard Lonely One, could you tell us about like what is that song about?
So that song is about all my songs have this like duality, or even more than that. But I originally started writing it one day. I don't even know if you know this story. Working with Corin, and he was just like really sad, but wouldn't tell me why he was sad. And so that was the first verse, and it turned into me actually like talking to God, like, why do you allow people to be this sad? Like, are you that way? Is really how the song started.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. Like, I only wrote that first verse. And then when Corin passed away, rest in peace, I finished it.
Yeah.
And then I was even more angry with God. It was kind of like, still the same thing. Why do these kind of things happen? When someone dies young, you don't understand it. It's so hard to understand.
Yeah.
When someone's like older, not that they like deserve it or anything, but it just makes more sense,
Yeah.
like old age and things, like your time has come. Okay.
Easier to rationalize.
Yeah. And so I was just, it is really like a letter to God, being like, it started off as a very angry thing, and me kind of being like, I reference nature and stuff a lot in that song, talking about, God, whatever people believe as God, like the creator, created, the sunrise, but have you even seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know what it looks like to watch the sunrise? Do you know what it looks like or feels like to watch the sun go down? Do you know what it is like to stand under a full moon and howl? Like, I'm trying to see if God really, if he knows this pain, I don't like saying that. If God knows this pain or knows this beauty, or if God just made it, and doesn't even get to experience it.
Yeah.
And I ask, like, if you're, are you numb like the rest of us?
Yeah.
Like, be honest with me. Just tell me.
Yeah.
Like, and this pain and stuff came from what I was feeling and what Corin was feeling and what all of us were feeling during this time of just grieving and loss. Like, have you really felt this? You must.
Yeah.
And then the ending came as like, well, are you okay?
Yeah.
Tell me what hurts.
Yeah. Sort of like a plea to God for healing.
Yeah.
Not just for you, but for the healing of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I didn't know that specifically about Corin, but I sort of did intuit it. And it's always clicked for me. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I really love that song, not just because it's clear that God is the lonely one, but
Right.
but in my experience, God is experiencing the sunset, and that is
Through us.
and also why this exists.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
because
If it does.
thank you. Well, my experience is that I've had moments where there's this real great sort of clairvoyancy of meaning, where if we created a sunset, right? If we painted it, or if we could somehow omnisciently develop the sun and a planet, it would cease to have the kind of beauty that waking up in the morning and opening the door and not knowing what time it is, and then the sunset just dawning upon you, and it's sort of being this,
Or like setting your
mysterious
alarm clock
surprise.
for the sunset versus just like stumbling out the door into
Sure,
it.
that's one example. So
Yeah.
like that's always how the songs resonated with me. And it's just spiritually spot on for me. And also, something I struggle to explain to people. People like I've had people really ask me those questions, those hard ones. You know, why do young people who are die young?
Yeah.
Why is there all this murder and
And
pain?
how do
and-
we answer it? There's
Well, I struggle to answer too succinctly, but I know what that answer is in my heart, which is not to be corny, but like God wants to feel it all,
yeah.
and we are God. That is
Right.
my experience.
Yeah.
And since we are God, we are the individualized expressions of God, so that God can experience
Yeah.
all of the things that we've created.
That's like kind of a segue into also the title of the song is a biblical reference, because it's God was lonely,
Yeah,
which is why God created, from the Bible. So that's where that came from.
yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of, you could say, truth to it. I think that's a bit of a trite
I
concept.
mean, I think we ask for it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of what the incarnation process is, the process of asking for things to happen to you, to like...
Yeah, to learn lessons.
Yeah, because like the idea of God like separating themselves into all these little entities to go off and have all these experiences. Well, let's say you break up into all these little pieces and then none of those pieces do anything. What was the point in the first place,
Yeah.
And then that's kind of the bigger picture, but on the smaller picture, like people just like, like in the day-to-day life, I think it's an analog to your spiritual experience on the planet is your day-to-day life. People like, they're asking for these situations, like,
Yeah.
People are in a lot of ways subconsciously asking for a lot of pain and things in just their actions in everyday life and stuff. And because you wouldn't learn anything if you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how important that pain is to those, back as a sort of metaphor to your music, how important the darkness and the sadness and the pain and the melancholy is to even enjoying any of the decent stuff. If you like the good stuff, you got to have the weird, awkward, criminal stuff too.
Create that balance.
Yeah.
That harmony.
Well, I think that's also just something that's growing in the consciousness of our world. I think 30 years ago, your music might not have resonated with people, or that's just an assumption, or 100 years ago, because there is a new sort of, it's not new actually, if I think about it, it's thousands of years old, but it's more popular, I think, than it's ever been. In the metaphorical context people are experiencing it, that people want to talk about God. Not that God is this and I'm going to argue it.
Right.
But really asking the question together, what is God? What are we? Who are we? And music like this is a gateway to an answer that doesn't need to be mathematical, doesn't need to be a word or an end goal.
Yeah.
But instead of a tool for exploration.
Right.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. I dig it too. And I use your music as the tool. So thank you for helping me dig deeper.
Dig.
Yeah.
Can we derail just a little bit?
Derail us.
Well, you have a shadow today, and I wanted to ask you about that part of your life.
So that part of my life is brand spanking new. I actually met her. This is our first time meeting.
What is her name?
Her name is Nikki.
Hey, Nikki. How's it going?
Hey, Nikki.
Today is your first time meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, what a cool chance for her. She's she's probably like, you wouldn't believe what happened to me.
I keep being like, are you okay? Are you good? Like, this happens kind of fast.
Yeah, when you came in today, I thought okay, they've known each other for a few weeks or something.
We've been talking, like texting for the past week maybe.
Is this through an organization?
No. So a friend of mine hit me up just like, oh, my partner's little sister is looking for a mentor for her a school project, her senior project type of thing, and she wants you to be her mentor. And I was like, tight. I think they're and it's weird because I've been thinking about weeks before. I was like, there's two things that I really want to be in life. One is a mentor and one is a grandmother. Don't ask. And so that just came literally out of nowhere, and I was down, because I've always wanted a mentor, and I haven't been blessed with one. So I was like, well, if I can't get one, I want to be one. And she's a senior, and I would have loved that, because I would have probably started all of this a lot sooner. I would have known a lot more, and because right now I'm doing everything by myself, and I'm completely independent, no management, nothing, and it's a lot of trial and error,
and it's hard as hell,
and it's hard as fuck. So hopefully I can you know, she can learn some things from me and like take some things. And I wanted to bring her here today so that she can see, you know, one of the cooler parts of the process.
Movers and shakers.
Yeah. Did you like go get coffee before this with her? Or
No.
Did you guys meet up at the studio?
We met here. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So how
Great.
as far as like the school part, like how is she going to reflect this experience as part of the project? Like,
So as far as I know, because we haven't really talked about it that much, she has to do like a weekly blog
oh, cool.
about things, and so
That's a tight school assignment.
Yeah. And her end goal though is she's a singer
That
as well.
was my next question.
Yeah.
And so they kind of have what I understand like free reign. You can choose anything to do this project on, and she wants to do it on like singing, songwriting, and she wants to. The goal is to write a song and then produce a video. And so I'm just gonna kind of like take her around and let her have a look into what my life is, and then help her with the song and getting the video done.
Well, maybe some of that thing we were talking about before about you getting to know someone else's life to help them in a songwriting aspect. Maybe
Maybe this is it.
is part of it, right?
Yeah.
How beautiful.
And she's so cute.
She
She's
is.
super cute.
So cute.
What kind of music does she do?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know anything?
No.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's great. Well, you're very lucky back there listening right now.
I just want to help. Like, I just want to help. So
I know
whatever
you're
can
going
do.
to. I know you're going to. I don't think that she could have gotten a better mentor. So, yeah. Well, tell us, you said you've got a couple shows coming up. We, surprisingly or not, for those of us who've put the headphones on and joined the portal before, are almost done with the podcast already.
You're right. This does go fast.
I told you it goes fast,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, tell us what else are you up to? Give us shout outs. Where can people find out more about Kayla Marque, the whole nine?
Cool. So I mentioned the anniversary show, November 26th at Larimer Lounge. And then I mentioned CPR on Wednesday.
Right.
And I don't know when that's going to air. We're trying to air it this week so that it will be before the show that I'm going to talk about next. But so maybe I can send you like a link when it airs.
Yeah, I definitely do.
And then so this coming weekend on Saturday, the 11th, I'm playing a domestic violence and sexual abuse fundraiser.
You're like the third person to tell me there's that fund. So, what is the fundraiser? Where is it?
It's at Syntax,
Okay, yeah.
which
Syntax
is also
Physics
where I
Opera
had
House,
my album release party last
which was
year.
fantastic.
So it's all like coming full circle, and the proceeds are going to a Safe House Denver.
Good.
Yeah. So and it's Mawule. He's a dope artist, and
He was
he's
on Boom Bap Tricks like
Yeah.
a month ago.
he's dope, and he's just like an educator and
Activist.
yeah, artivist. He's all in the community, and he's premiering his music video that night. And then Yazi is also on the bill, and then me. And that show, I am actually, along with copyrights that I played today, I'm going to be playing all new songs. I know.
Wow. That's awesome.
I'm very scared. It's been like,
One more time. What day is that?
that's Saturday, November 11th.
Oh, okay. Damn it. I'll be out of town.
Boo.
I know. Or I might like just be getting back into town. So
Beach jamming?
No, I'm going to Arco Santi because Balbo is touring down to Arizona for a big music festival.
Oh, is Arco Santi the name of the festival?
It's a place and the name of the festival.
Okay.
No,
I'd
it's
never
called
heard of it.
Convergence in Arco Santi. But this isn't about Balbo, although we love them.
What up, ladies?
November 11th, definitely go and check that out. I've
Yeah.
heard various people say it's going to be the
Come
bomb.
support a good cause. And October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so yeah, we're kind of like still piggybacking off of that. And, it'll be a really good night.
Good. Well, it's more important now than ever. You know, we have the Me Too campaign
Yeah.
and plenty of other things that are
It's
coming
so
out.
appropriate, and it's just the right time.
It's the
Plus,
right
I'm
time.
playing brand new songs that no one has heard ever,
Yeah. Which is a treat. It
which
is an
is
absolute
scary.
treat.
I don't ever do that. I like specifically planned out. I don't ever play new music that soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I take a lot of time to like polish it
Mm-hmm.
and perfect it. So it's gonna be.
Well, you've got a very polished sound. I remember watching you warm up like a long time ago and seeing how much effort you put into this. And it clicked for me like, oh, this is why she
I
says
remember.
all the
No,
time.
I remember this.
You remember this?
Yeah.
I remember she says this all the time, like, well, it's not all talent. She says that because she warms up for like 2.5 hours before she sings.
I do.
And that's why she sounds like this, because she really polishes that tone. So So props to you, and props to anyone that goes out to support the cause and listen to Kayla.
And by warming up, he means whiskey and cigarettes.
And singing.
No, yeah. But no, I've never like done vocal warm-ups.
Yeah?
Just like playing the song over and over again
That's all right.
is what it is.
Your song has naturally got so many like dips and curves and ups and downs that
It's life.
you probably hit all of what you need to hit anyway.
Well, we try.
Yeah. So if people want to find out more about Kayla Marque, how can they do that?
You know, I'm on all the social medias.
All the medias. And what's your tag?
It's the same on all of them. I am Kayla Marque, and it's MARQUE.
So make sure you check that out. You'll see that in the video description. If we did this properly, then that should also be underneath.
Oh, yeah, I think it is.
It is.
It
I
is?
did that. Yeah, I did that myself.
Good job.
Well done, Samson.
Which, speaking of looking for that, I looked you up.
Yeah.
And the tennis court
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
Are you wearing a welding helmet?
No, I'm wearing a visor.
Okay.
Like-
I just remember looking at the picture and being like, I want to ask that question, and then I just remembered.
It does kind of look like, okay, I ordered it online for like $5, and I thought it was smaller, and it totally does look like a welding
It
thing.
does.
There's a picture that I have it like down, but I haven't posted that. I'll do it just for you. So you
Oh,
can
that'd be
see.
great.
Oh. Well, it's been fantastic having you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and sitting down with us. We're going to be taking a break after next week, so you're the second of last guest for our first season.
Season 1.
Yeah,
Hey.
season 1's almost done. So
Tight.
tell your friends. Kayla Marque is an awesome artist. Go check her out this Wednesday and next
No.
Friday. No,
You
damn
can't
it.
check me out Wednesday. Check me out on
Oh, right, but Wednesday
Saturday
you're gonna be at CPR.
Syntax.
Yeah, Saturday. Go and check her out.
And
when
the
else?
26th at Larimer Lounge.
26th at Larimer Lounge. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Kayla.
Thank you.
Appreciate
This
and
was
love
awesome.
you. Yeah, it's been an absolute honor being with you. Either way, this is the We Are Denver Network. This has been Illfoominati. Stay tuned for Nothing Explained. We'll see you later, guys. Love and peace.